Hello and welcome. A very good morning to all of you. This is me, Neev Goswami, welcoming you all in a very live and interactive session, which is all about virtual labs. Yes, it's 10 a.m. in the clock now, and now it's time for the virtual lab session, which you're watching at PM eVidya channel number 6 to 12, and of course on our official YouTube channels, which are NCERT Official and NCERT PM eVidya class 6 to 12. So when we talk about virtual lab, let me give you a brief over this. A virtual lab is an online platform that simulates a real-world lab environment. It lets students and teachers, researchers conduct experiments and perform procedures on a computer or any other device without needing any physical equipment and of course or any dedicated lab space. Some key features are that you can practice without any risk, access expensive equipment and learn from anywhere. And today we are going to take up grade 11 subject mathematics, where the topic that we are going to take up is demonstration of simulation to identify a relation and a function, which is flashing on your screen as well. To elaborate this topic to all of us, to all our viewers, that the expert that I'm having in the studio, she is Miss Shivani Sharma, who is an academic consultant at CIET, at DICT, CIET, NCERT, New Delhi. Ma'am, a very warm welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we begin this session with Shivani ma'am, here I want to introduce our sign language interpreter as well, which you are seeing on your screen. She is Shikha. Shikha, very warm welcome to this 10 a.m. session of Virtual Labs. Before we begin this session, here's a piece of information for all our viewers, and that is, if you have any question regarding the session, you can directly call us on a phone number which is flashing on your screen, and that is 8800440559. With that, if you want to ask us any question or if you want to send us any feedback or suggestion regarding the session, you can directly write us on a mail ID which is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in, same flashing on your screen in the form of ticker. And as I mentioned, our YouTube channels at the beginning, so if you're watching us there, you can directly ask your questions in the live chat box. This facility is available there on YouTube. Okay, so the first question, the basic one that I want to ask from our expert for today, that ma'am, what we are going to discuss in today's session and what we are going to perform through virtual labs.
So in today's session, we are going to explore, identify a relation and a function. So when we read algebra, so first we should know about about the sets. So what is sets, and after this we will study relation and function. So what is set? So it's a well-defined collection of objects. So whenever we study about set, so we should notice about two words: well-defined and the distinct. So what is the well-defined collection of object is called set. So if I ask you what is the set of natural number, so it starts from 1, 2, 3. So it's a well defined and all the numbers are distinct. So it's a collection of sets and it's a collection of natural number. So when we read about sets, then we should know it's a well defined collection of objects. Now after the set, we should know what is relation and what is a function. So we have two sets, like first is set A and another one is set B. Okay. So when we established the relation with set A to set B is called relation. And what is function? When we talk about relation, and we apply two conditions. First, all the elements of set A is associate with distinct element of set B is called relation. So in today's session we will do some many examples, like which is the sets, which is the functions, and we differentiate what is the difference between all these things. And in the when student choose in the class 11 subject as mathematics, it's always got confused between relation and function, and it's a basic. So this topic is going to be very helpful for class 11 student.
Yes, Shivani ma'am is here to clear all your doubts, and as she gave us an overview of what is function, what is relation, ma'am, I just want to know what is the significance of this, like where we are using this in our day-to-day life.
So whenever we read any kind of graph, we should know what is relation and what is function. So it's a limit. It's just not limited with mathematics subject. It is this topic is can be useful in the field of economics, as we study about supply chain graphs. We want to read supply demand graphs. So we should know what is relation and what is function. And the condition is, whenever we read any graph and it has only one input, one output, then it's called a function. So whenever we read, this is useful in the field of data analysis. This is useful even in statistics, even in any kind of graph we are reading. And when one of the daily life example is the student teacher example, is that teacher take the attendance. So one student has only one roll number, so it's a unique roll number, so it's an example of function. So in daily life it's very useful topic.
Indeed, a useful topic and a very important one. Ma'am, but when we come towards the virtual labs, like I've already given an overview of virtual labs, what are these virtual labs and what are the key features of these virtual labs, but where do we find these virtual labs, or do we need to register for them again and again, or are these free of cost, or we are bounded some sort of cost when it comes to the virtual labs?
No, it's completely free and it's very easy to explore. You just need to type www.diksha.gov.in and you can explore it. So here I am telling you step by steps.
Okay.
So first what you need to do, just type Diksha. So you have to type Diksha.
Okay.
So this is the first number. This is the www.diksha.gov.in. This is the home page of Diksha.
Got it.
Now this is the home page of Diksha. You can explore anything, whatever you want to explore. And now one of the focus area is virtual lab. So here you can say this is the virtual lab. Okay. We have to click as learn more. This is the home page of virtual lab. Student can explore what is all about virtual lab here. And the content is divided into the class 6 to class 12th, and both Hindi and English medium. So in today's our topic is from class 11th, so we have to choose grade 11, and medium is English medium. Subject is mathematics. As you can see that there are a lot of subjects. So here we are choosing mathematics. Now the TOC is given in the right hand side. You can see there are a lot of examples. Student can do any of the simulation by herself, and it's the best. All the procedure are same. So our today's topic is this: identify a relation and a function. We have to click on the learning resource and the simulation is given here. So we have to click on the simulation part. Now whenever we are going to explore any simulation, there are some steps which we need to follow. So first step is that we should know what is the theory behind it. Now the second and third step is procedure and animation, that is for the students' help. So and the third step is fourth step is the simulation, and then the viva, self-assessment. So first we are going to explore theory. So what we are going to explore in today's session, this is given here, and what is the fundamentals even for the simulation, which we can read here. So what is the objective? What we are going to do, we are identifying which is the relation and which is the function. On Cartesian product, as we know that we have two sets A and B, multiply, if we want to multiply both of the sets, then it is A cross B and it is called Cartesian product. You can understand that it's a multiplication of two sets. So how it is multiplied? The A cross B, A is written as A bracket A comma B. So A is associated with the first set and B is associated with the second set. When we order that first is the input and second one is the output, we write in this form, then it become a ordered pair. Now we will talk about domain, codomain and range. As we can see in this graph, in this diagram, that this is set A and this is set B. So all the elements of the set A is called domain. That is called input, set of input. All the elements of which is in the set B is called codomain. And we can see in the picture that 1 is related to 2, 2 is related to 2, 3 is related to 3 and 4 is related to 3. So we can see that there are two elements only which are output of the inputs. So that is the range. So 1 and 4 are not in the range, but they are in the codomain. So we can read the definitions also, what is domain, what is codomain, and what is range, which is given in the example also. Also, what is the relation? So a relation R, we are introducing relation as R, is the subset of the Cartesian product x cross y, x multiplied by y, which are x and y are two non-empty sets. X has to be some elements, y has to be some elements. It is one of the most important condition that both sets should be non-empty, and it is derived by standing the relationship between the first element and the second element of the ordered pair of x cross y. Okay, and what is the range? We just see that set of output is called range. And what is function? Let's suppose we have two set, one is set A and one is set B. So first it should be a relation, and then the definition says that each element has set A. Each element of set A has exactly distinct element in set B, associate with distinct element in set B. Here we can see that 9 is related with 2 and 3, and 9 is also related with minus 3. So it's not a relation because function, because 9 is associated with two numbers. So it is not an example of function, and also written here that it is not a function. So we should read the theory thoroughly, and then we are moving on to the next step, that is procedure. So what is the procedure? It's a picturized version of the simulation, and it is for the help of the student. So what we are going to explore today in the simulation, all the things are written in the picturized form, and student can read it, and then he can do the experiment, he can do the simulation very easily. Now again the second step is the animation, and animation is again also for the students' help, where exactly we need to click, or all the things are given in the experiment. And so it promotes self-learning also. And the next is the simulation part. So first read the objectives and what we are going to learn in the experiment, what is the learning outcome, we can read here. Now we have to click on the start button. What is the objective? To identify a relation and a function. Now what we are going to do, just all the things is written in the instruction box. We are following the instruction box, and will do the experiment. So what is the first instruction? Click on the tools button and select hardboard. So we are selecting tools button and then the hardboard. Now we can see that the hardboard is given there. Now the second is click on the place bulbs and the make connections. So here we can see that a lot of connections are given. Now what we are going to do, this is the ordered pair. And what is the condition of ordered pair? There is no condition. At least the condition should be A and B are non-empty, and A is related to B. Set A is related to B. So that's a very simple one. We have to click all the connections and D, W. Now this is not the connection because W is not in the subset. If there is nothing in the subset, W is not in the set A, then how can it be the W comma L can be the ordered pair? So it's not the example of. Then E comma Q, E is there, yes, it is a ordered pair. F is also there, G is also there, E is also there. It can be one to many. So E can be associated with two numbers. H is also there, but R is not in the codomain. So it is not a ordered pair. So here we can see by many examples that which one is the ordered pair and another one is not an ordered pair. Then we have to click on the result button, and then we see the observations. And what is the observation? It is based on the theory only, which one is the connection and which one is not the connection. We can read the theory and go ahead. Again given in the instruction that click on the next button. So we are going to the next. After the ordered pair, the next step is the relation. So there might be some condition for the relation also. So again the same procedure we are following. We have to click on the bulbs, and we are showing which is the example of relation or not. Now we can see that all the given here is the example of relation, but Vj, so is there any V in the set A? There is no V in the domain. So it should not be an example of relation. So this is not an example of relation. Then D comma J, dj is a relation, and we can see what is the result. So we can see that the result is shown as that W, if the V is not in the set A, then it cannot be an example of relation. Now the most important part is the function. Student can easily read the ordered pair, easily read the relation, but they stuck on the function. So what is the function we are going to explore here? Same procedure is given. Click on the place bulbs, make connections. Now we have to do this way. K. So K is not an example. K is not in the domain, so it is not an example of function. DT. D is not associated with anyone, so DT is an example of function. J0. J is also not in the set, so it's not the example of function. Even EJ, EQ. EQ is also a example of function. Then this is example of function. Again, this is also example of function. H is also example of function. Here we can see that any of the element is not associated with two elements. So it's a perfect example of function, and each elements. Suppose the H is not related to anyone, then also the whole set is not an example of the function. Then we have to click on the result button, and we can read the definition of the function, how it is differentiated from the relation. And if you stuck anywhere in the example, you can restart it and again do that. Now the most important part is the self-assessment. Student can check our knowledge, that how the topic has been understood by herself or not. So student can do that. So the most important last part is the self-assessment. This is the fourth part here. Student need to click here. Now the question set of questions is given. Here we can see that one of the timer is given. Total number of questions are 10, and we are on the question number 1, and the scoreboard is also given. Okay. So this is the first question: which of the following relation is a function? So here we can see all the four examples are example of relation. But in the four option, 4 is not function, but 1 is the function. So we can see the first option. A is related to B, B is related to E, and also B is related to X. What we are going to see, that each element of B has distinct image in set B, but set A has distinct image in set B. So here we can see B has two images, so this is not an example of function. Now we are moving to the example B. Option B, in the option B, A is associated with B, M and D. So also this is not an example of function. In option C, E is related to D, B is related to E. Again, C can be related to D, E can be related to X. So this is an example of a function. Or why this is not a function? Same example, that B is associated with two numbers. Two elements. So C is the correct option. We have to click C, and it shows a prompt that it's a correct answer. And even we are doing something wrong, then also it gives a prompt that you have to provide a hint also that you can correct your answer. So again we are moving to the next question. What is range? So first option is output of function, input of relation only, all codomain elements are range. All codomain elements are range. All domain elements are range. So we can see all the options are incorrect except the option A. Option A says input of the function. So yes, it's a correct option. Choose option A and submit it, and we are moving to the next option. Now A cross B. A is multiplied by B. So A, what are the elements in the set A which is written on the first place? So 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6. So A should have 5 and 6 elements, and what might be the numbers of elements which are in set B is the second element, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 4, 6, 7. So we can see what the question says. The question says what the value of A. So we can see that A has only two elements which are 5 and 6. So option D is correct. We have to submit it and move to the next. Now this is the tricky question. A and B are two sets. A has 3 elements, B has 2 2 elements. Then the number of relations from set A to B. So whenever we are going to find the number of relation, we need to multiply the cardinality of A and cardinality of B. Cardinality means the number of elements in set A and number of elements in set B. So here are 3 elements here and here are 2 elements. 3 and 2 is multiplied by, then it's 6, and 2 to the power 6 is the number of total number of relation, which is 64. Click on the submit button and do the next one. Again, select the image that shows relation as well as function. So we have to find that this is not an example of function because this C is not associated with anyone. And what we learned that each element of A. So C is not associated with anyone, so it's not an example of function. Again, this is not also an example of function. So the option should be B, and it is a correct option. Again, the two sets are given. What is B cross B? We have to multiply the first element by all the elements of Q. Again, 6 by all the elements of Q. Then 4 2 4 3 4 4. This way the option A is correct, and this way we can do our assessment. What is the term Cartesian product is the multiplication of two set. This so we can do our experiment. We can do all the questions, explore all the questions, and this is again one example. Set A and B, 2 set are given. How many number of elements? Whenever we talk the number of elements, we have to multiply both of the sets. So this is 3 and 4. 2 and 3. This is multiplication of 2 and 3 are set 3, and this way we can submit it and we can do the assessment.
So we have 10 questions in total, and ma'am, during this self-assessment, what I've observed, like whenever we are doing any of these questions, so it gives you 2 chances.
Yeah.
After those 2 chances, the question will be locked, and you are still, if your guessing game is still not that correct, if you're still not getting correct the answer, so you have to move on towards the next question.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of a flexibility that this program actually shows, these virtual labs actually shows. Thank you so much, Shivani ma'am, for being here.
Thank you.
And to elaborate this session, the relation and function to our students, and how we perform the same in the virtual labs. She told every one of us. And I just want to thank our sign language interpreter, Shikha, as well, who is here for this session, and she has joined us for this 30-minute session of virtual labs. But after this session, we have a very, very interesting session, because we are covering NCERT webinar series 2026, and this is new textbooks for grade 9 2026-27 session. Today we are entering in our day 8, and this is all about textbook of Urdu for grade 9, and the book name is Jamuna. So this will be our 1 hour 30-minute session. So you have to be with us by 10:30 till 12 p.m. All you need to take care of yourself. Don't go anywhere, because after the session you will be joined by our expert, our co-anchor as well. So thank you so much for joining us for this session. This is Mineev Goswami signing off. All you need to take care of yourself. Be happy. Always take care of yourself. Stay tuned with the NCERT official. Thank you so much once again.